So there we are. It finishes 2-0 to the Cockney boys. And that was a result that I don't think anybody saw coming, to be perfectly honest with you. Not me, not even the most optimistic of fans that watched it on the telly or made their way up there. There was 3,000 fans that made their way. And my hat's off to you, if I had a hat, which I don't. But we'll talk about the match and all the rest of it. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Gatesy. I inhabit another West Ham fan YouTube channel called the West Ham Massive. If I'm lucky, one of the chaps will put the link to my YouTube channel in the description section below. If you find me mildly amusing, entertaining or informative, please pop over. But before you do that, please make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to Hammers Chat as well. Thanks for your time. Okay, so the teams were announced, and I think that a lot of people looked at the starting 11 and probably did what I did and shook my head and tutted. I mean, the goalkeeper and the back four probably takes care of itself. Jared Bowen is in the starting lineup on merit. So is Crescencio Somerville. There's still a lot of people that probably don't think that Tomas Soucek should be there. I'm not one of them. I have to put my colours on the mast. I think that what he offers the team in either sort of last third of the pitch, first third of the pitch, it can't be underestimated. Okay, look, he's not the most sublime, silky, skilled, technical player, central midfielder, passing dynamo. He's none of those things, but what he offers is something that a lot of teams don't have. He's a unique player. Soler, I think I've been disappointed with him up to this point. So to see him on the starting lineup, I was sort of shrugging my shoulders and wondering what that was all about. Paquetá, he's had a poor season, I can't lie. And again, seeing him starting, and Antonio again, these were the ones that I looked at and thought, not too sure that I would have picked him. And I think probably a lot of people that I know would have agreed with that. But do you know what? Every single one of the players that I saw today, even the substitutes when they came on for whatever part of the match that they played, for the first time this season, what I witnessed, and I'm hoping that you guys probably saw a similar thing to me, it looked like for the first time this season, we looked like a cohesive unit. There was 11 players, and I remarked on it in games where things haven't gone so well, that we look like 11 strangers. I didn't see that today. I really didn't. I saw a cohesive unit. I saw 11 players that were working together as one effective team, as a unit, all pulling in the same direction, all knowing what their role was, all knowing what they had to bring to the party, and they executed the plan. Lopetegui, I'll be honest, he looked like he hasn't had a moment's kip since before the international break. He looked haggard. He looked he was far from clean shaven, which he normally looks. It's the first time I've ever seen him where he looks like that. He looked like he'd been dragged through a hedge backwards. So I don't know if he knows what, the writing's on the wall, I guess, possibly. Does this change anything? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. You never know. But we go 1-0 up. It's a corner. So as I say, Tomas Soucek, he's an absolute menace at set pieces. The opposite number, the marker for Tomas Soucek. Where was it? It was they were nowhere, and he rises like a salmon, gets a powerful header to the ball, steers it past Nick Pope in goal, and we're off and running. But do you know what? Even the most optimistic prediction that I saw today from multiple people, there wasn't anyone that turned around and said we'd even get a draw, let alone a win. I think the most optimistic prediction that I saw was that we'll probably get one goal and then we'll go on to concede 5, and that will be all she wrote. And everybody was saying pretty much a similar thing. We're going to get absolutely stuffed. I think I saw one prediction that I know that from a friend of mine that turned around and said we'd probably be 3-0 down within 20 minutes. We weren't. And that first half, I think we looked really good. Okay, admittedly, there was a couple of times, there was a couple of defensive lapses from Wan-Bissaka and Todibo that you looked at and you thought, oh, God, that could have gone another way. That would have been sort of like a little bit of a problem we'd had to deal with. And sometimes we had to ride our luck a bit. But you know what? You're not going to go to an away game in a Premier League, especially at a place like Newcastle, 8 o'clock kickoff, which is an absolute joke that the Premier League allowed that to happen. 3,000 fans make the journey up there, and the last train back to London leaves sort of just at half time. Are you for real? Absolute joke, but that's the scheduling, that's the TV sort of companies and all the rest of it, the Premier League all doing their thing to cock things up for the sort of like the dyed in the wall away supporter. And as I say, my hat's off to all of them, because they've had to take probably 2 days off of work, stay overnight in a hotel, all of those sacrifices that they've had to make. But they've been rewarded. They've been massively rewarded. And as I say, 1-0 up at half time. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that's the first time this season in the Premier League we've had a clean sheet aligned with an advantage at half-time. Both of those things coming together, you did sort of think, how's this going to be in the second half? A Newcastle going to unleash sort of Callum Wilson on the bench. He always scores against us. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It looked like there was a bit of belief. I don't know whether Lopetegui has really sort of like managed to get his message across, as I say, because we looked like we all knew, all the players knew what their role was. They all knew what they were supposed to be bringing onto the pitch, and they all looked like they believed. Sky had us down as a 4-3-3 formation. Was it? Wasn't it? But Soler, I thought, played well. Paquetá, I thought, played well. Antonio did what he needed to do. His hold-up play at times was good. I still think that there's times when he's a little bit too deep. He needs to push up a little bit more and occupy the centre-backs. There was time that he was closer to the central mid than he was to the centre-backs. It is a little bit annoying, but hey, I can't complain. We come away with a 2-0. The goal from Wan-Bissaka to make it 2-0 as well. I don't think he scored many goals in his career. Maybe he scored 2 goals prior to this. But so that's a goal that will be long remembered. It has to be said. Maybe not the... I'm not talking in terms of, its technical excellence. It wasn't like a bicycle kick from Di Canio against Wimbledon all those years ago. But just in terms of actually sealing the deal, putting the rubber stamp on a victory, that will be a goal that will be long, long remembered. The game played its way out, and we even at 2-0, you sort of sit there and you think, are we going to just sort of shut up shop and just sort of absorb what Newcastle have got for the... Do you know what? Not a bit of it. We still, even at 2-0, tried to get a third goal and improve our goal difference. I think from 2-0, we had the game. I wouldn't say we dominated Newcastle, we didn't, but I would say we controlled the pattern of the play. And there's not many teams that are going to do that this season. Now, is this going to be enough for Lopetegui? I don't know. And it does largely depend upon what happens against Arsenal. But I'll tell you what, if we can put in another performance like that, where we look like a whole cohesive unit, I'm going to say it, in my opinion, if we got beat against Arsenal, but we could put in, it's not a humiliation, if we could put in a competitive performance, let's just suppose we lose 2-1 against Arsenal, but if we put in a performance like that, where you've got a team that looks like they've got a bit of discipline, they've got a bit of understanding about the way that the manager is setting them up, do you know what? He might have a future at the club, Lopetegui. He may have earned himself a stay of execution. It's not my decision to make, but we'll wait and see. But do you know what? Going away to Newcastle, backs against the wall, nobody gave us a prayer. Nobody even thought we'd get a draw. Even the most optimistic fans that I know were saying we're probably going to get stuffed. And we've come away with a 2-0 win, and we were bloody good value for it. So let's see what happens against Arsenal. But anyway, as I say, if you could put a like on this stream and make sure you subscribe to Hammers Chat. And as I say, if the boys put the link for my YouTube channel, The West Ham Massive, below, if you fancy popping across there, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Come on, you Irons.